Today I'm going to be taking a look at a powerhouse fragrance that I wore exclusively for about 5 years in my early 20s. So this is one that I hold dear to my heart. This is Polo by Ralph Lauren, and to find out if I'd still wear this or recommend it as a blind buy in 2020, stay tuned to Mags Frags. Yes, hello again everybody and welcome to another episode of Mags Frags. I'm Paul and this is day 17 of my Fragrance 365 project where I talk about a different fragrance every day for a whole year. Today I'm taking a look at this classic amongst classics from Ralph Lauren, and this is Polo Eau de Toilette, or Polo Green as it's often referred to. Polo is one of the first two perfumes by Ralph Lauren and it was created by Carlos Benaim in 1978. This is a hyper-masculine and grown-up fragrance for a gentleman that commands respect. As I mentioned in the opening, I wore this in the late 80s and early 90s, and I can honestly say that I have never owned a fragrance since I stopped wearing this one that has got me as many compliments as this one did back in the day. I wore it for over 5 years as a signature scent in all seasons and for every situation, but I stopped wearing it because it was so distinctive at the time and it became so popular that I ended up just like looking for something a bit more unique. And then in 1993 a new fragrance was launched by Chanel called Platinum Egoiste, which then became my signature scent for the next few years. I'll also be reviewing this one in a future video. Back in those days I didn't have a collection and I tended just to stay loyal to one or two fragrances, and looking back I don't think I did too badly with these two. But today is all about this one, so let's break it down and let's see what it's all about. The top notes in this one are artemisia, caraway, coriander, juniper berries, basil, bergamot and thyme. In the mid we've got carnation, leather, chamomile, pepper, jasmine, rose, pine tree needles and geranium. And in the base we've got amber, patchouli, musk, oak moss, vetiver, cedar and tobacco. If I had to loosely sum up this fragrance in one sentence, I'd say it smells like you've had a huge fight with a giant pine tree. It's super green and earthy, but it manages to retain a crisp freshness right throughout into the far dry down. The opening can be a little bit on the loud side for some people, and I would kind of recommend that you give this one just a little bit of time to settle down before you make a final judgment, because the dry down is magical. It opens up with a blend of fresh grassy notes, and this is accompanied by the spicy notes of cumin, coriander and cloves. The heart of the fragrance is where you pick up on the pine tree accord, and this is supported by patchouli, oak moss and vetiver. For me it paints a picture of a pine forest on a cool and crisp day. The notes of tobacco, vanilla and woody notes in the base provide some depth and a masculine backbone to the fragrance. Like I said earlier, it's one of those classic fragrances that is instantly recognisable, and it's so distinctive that you couldn't fail to recognise it. It retains its bright, clean freshness throughout, but also has enough depth to make it very versatile for any occasion and any weather condition. Yeah, it comes in a green dark bottle with the famous Polo motif on the front, and that's in gold. It also has a gold cap and a gold atomizer. I've recently started decanting my fragrances, and after all these years of owning it, I've only just realised that the juice is actually green in this too. Now I know that I know it's been reformulated a few times, so I'm not sure if the vintage formulations had the green tint, but when I saw this it was a nice little discovery when I first saw it. The box is of a dark green. It's more like a British racing green, and it's got the gold branding on the front with the name of the house and the product. And then also you've got the Polo horse and the Polo player on the top there in gold. On the back you've got all the product information, you've got a barcode, and then on the bottom you've got your batch code, as always. The overall presentation of this one, it looks really expensive and premium. It's kept an elegant design. It's like classic form. The bottle's not changed much over the years. I think the atomizer had quite a longer one on the original formulation, but about that it's kept its same kind of form. But overall, the presentation and the spray on this and everything is just really high quality. Yeah, this is not a playful or juvenile fragrance. This is a serious and dignified scent that would be best suited to the well-dressed and well-groomed man. I would say that in terms of wearing it outdoors, I think this can be worn pretty much all year round, but I'd go easy on the sprays if you're planning on wearing it in the dead heat of the summer or as an office scent. But in my opinion, and this is a bold statement, for me there isn't a better outdoor winter scent that money can buy. It's an amazing cold weather scent, and I urge you to give it a try in the festive season when it's freezing cold outside, and you'll see exactly where I'm coming from with this. As a work scent, this is what you'd expect the boss to wear. It's very grown up and professional, and it will definitely command people's attention. This is a 10 out of 10 in both projection and longevity. It projects like a monster for hours and it lasts a full day. I actually don't know if it ever becomes a skin scent because it'll still get you compliments well into the 8-hour mark. You don't need to go heavy on the trigger to get this fragrance to last for you all day long. I wouldn't go more than 2 sprays in the warmer months and maybe go for 3 or 4 sprays if you're heading out into the extreme cold winter months. There's always a lot of talk in the fragrance forums saying that previous reformulations of this were much more strong than this. Personally, I wouldn't be able to tell unless I maybe tested an old vintage version side by side. This is still a beast of a fragrance, and it's still as strong and as powerful as anything you'll find currently in the shops. Yet everybody has that one fragrance that transports them straight back to a particular time of their life, and for me, nothing brings back so many good memories than when I spray this one. It was my signature scent during the prime years of my life, and 30 years on, I now believe that people should maybe reassess this one because I think it's a better green alternative to the hyped Green Irish Tweed by Creed. And anybody who is young enough not to remember this the first time round can now wear something that will set them apart from the hundreds of same Bergamot and Broxton releases that are getting churned out every month. But if you can remember this from when it was first around, you will probably have an unremovable scar from it, and you'll always think of this as being a bit old-fashioned and outdated. But for me, this is a total masterpiece of perfumery. And for that reason, Polo Green from the house of Ralph Lauren gets a straight 10 out of 10. Yeah, so once again, that's about it for today's scent of the day. Don't forget, coming up tomorrow, I'm going to be giving my thoughts on this one from popular YouTube fragrance reviewer Jeremy Fragrances, and this is Office for Men, so make sure you tune in for that one. As always, if you've enjoyed this video and you want to watch others in the series, you can catch them in the Fragrance 365 playlist. And also, if you'd like this video, please don't forget to give it a like and subscribe to the channel. I'd also like to hear your thoughts on this one, and also what your first signature scent was, the one that brings you back the most memories, so that'd be great to hear down in the comments section. So until next time everybody, as always, thank you very much for tuning in, stay safe and keep smelling fresh. Bye bye for now.